Welcome back to this little Game of Thrones series that I've been doing for the last couple of years, and this is the fans' favorite characters for seasons 1, 2, 3, and 4 video, just to provide some background information off the start before we get into the list. We had 20 entries this year, and 48 different characters were selected, or voted on, I should say, which is down from last year's results. I'm not sure why. The video just seemed to not get as many views. The previous for seasons 1, 2, and 3, we had 52 entries and 51 characters voted for. So not a little bit. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I wanted to get this up for you guys anyway because a lot of you guys made a list, and I wanted to continue the tradition. So, speaking of other videos in this series, you can click on the top annotation here for the complete playlist to the entire series, which will have my personal top 10s and also fans' favorite top 10s. The videos are for seasons 1 and 2, 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the playlist in the future will also contain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and anything beyond that, basically. So as long as the series goes. Click here for the complete standings, which will be on a Google Doc. You can view every vote that was ever cast in this series and for each season. If you want to see exactly which kind of obscure characters got voted for, there's some weird ones. And also, you can see like everything. Like you can see the top 20s if you want to see that, or the top 15s or whatever. Let's move on. So the structure is going to be pretty much the same. Basically, I'll be doing a video after season 5, which will be my personal top 10 favorite characters from seasons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you guys, after season 5, can either comment here in this video, or you can comment in that video, my top 10. And then once we roll around another calendar year to March 2016, I'll look back through the YouTube comments, and any comment that was posted after the end of season 5 will be added to the new fan ballot, I guess you could say, or competition to see what are the favorite characters for the first 5 seasons of Game of Thrones. So I think that's it. Without further ado, let's get to number 10. Number 10 is Sir Bronn of Blackwater, as he was knighted after his grand season 2. As you can see, I have the previous ranks for the seasons. The first number in the previous ranks is for seasons 1, 2, and 3, and the second number is for seasons 1 and 2. So his highest rank ever was after season 2, which makes sense because that was the big Battle of the Blackwater when he really came and became a prominent character in the show. And last season he had a bit of a fall off, and I'm really kind of surprised to see him do this well this season because I didn't think he had that great a season in season 4. I was looking over the wiki to see if I'd missed anything, but really all he did was he helped train Jaime basically, and he refused to defend Tyrion in his trial. He did some other things, but nothing really of like great significance. So I'm a little surprised to see him in 10th place with 41 points, jumping up 8 spots from last season. So props to him and all the guys who like him. A little surprising, but let's move on to number 9. Number 9 is Sir Clegane, the Hound, and he has quietly become one of the most popular and well-liked and consistent characters in the show. Of course, now he is off-screen death, so presumed to be dead, but you never know with TV shows. If you don't see a confirmed death, then you can never really be sure. And so he is in 9th place. He was the 9th place in the last year ago, and then 2 years ago he was 10th place. So he's been pretty steady, just barely cracking the top 10 every time. He had a very good season in my opinion. Like probably one of the best scenes in season 4 was his. Actually, he had a couple. 2 of them in particular, where the first one being the chicken fight over the chickens in that little inn, and then the second one was the epic, brutal fight with Brienne, which was just bloody and dirty. So he beat out Sir Bran by 1 point. Sir Bronn of Blackwater. Let's move on to number 8. Number 8 is Ned Stark, still kicking it into the top 10. Props to Ned Stark. He's done very well, 44 points. He's falling every year a little bit. He was in 4, and then in 7, and now he's in 8th. But a real testament to how amazing the character was, and I really wish that Obviously, you always wish that things could be different, but it's enjoyable the way it is. But it would have been nice to see Ned still be in this world and see him compete against characters like Tyrion or characters like Arya and characters like Jon Snow, like the bigs, to see how they're still liked after all this time. Number 7, Daenerys Targaryen. She had a down season again. She seems to do really well in the odd numbered seasons and really bad in even numbered seasons. She was ninth in season after season 2, and then now she's 7th again after season 4, whereas she was 5th after her big Misa taking of, I think it was Yunkai in Slaver's Bay. Here she is ruling over Meereen, and some of the things she did in season 4, which in my opinion, she had a bad season, so I'm not surprised to see her drop, but she's still overall certainly a fan favorite. She lost control of her dragons. She did the siege of Meereen, which when they launched all the slave neck things over the walls and created like a rising up, a coup d'etat, and her relationship with Daario increased. Her relationship with Jorah fell apart, which was climaxed by Jorah being exiled. And then finally, to conclude season 4, 2 of her dragons got chained up. Well, she chained them up, I should say. So that was like, that had me worried for sure. So 7th place, she's fallen down. I mean, if you look at like probably what they're paying their actors, I would say Daenerys is probably certainly in the top 4. I would say, if not like number 1 or 2 behind. Actually, she's probably number 2 behind Tyrion, but she's only number 7 according to the fans so far. And then we got the class man himself, Mr. Hard and Rough and Tardy, Stannis Baratheon. He didn't really do very much in season 4, I didn't think, but he jumped up 7 spots to his highest ranking yet, of 6th place, which is very high for him. Congrats. I think mostly what he did was he went to the Iron Bank and got money from them, got a loan of an army and food and stuff, and then at the end of the season he obviously saved the wall from the wildlings who were going to take it out after the wildlings botched that attack on the wall. And here he is talking to Mance Rayder north of the wall. Could be a big season 5 for him. Looking forward to it. Should be exciting. Number 5 is my personal favorite character so far, Peter Baelish. Big thing with Peter Baelish in season 4, obviously, was him stealing away Sansa. Finally got a Catelyn Stark-esque girl, and then his best scene was, well, I mean, he dominates every scene he's in, but one of the best scenes involving him was when Sansa finally became a player in the game and she lied on his behalf. That was one of the best. And then the closing scene with him telling Robin, the Lord of the Vale, that they're going to go for a little tour of the Vale, and Sansa coming down the steps looking very much like her mother, but dressed in a almost Mockingjay type outfit. Very awesome. Very awesome season for Lord Baelish. Big season 5 coming up for him. I have no idea where it's going to go. So yeah, just to reiterate, he finished 15th, 8th, and now he's 5th. So he is a climber. Good for him. 4th place is Lord Tywin Lannister. He also has been rising every season. 7th, 6th, and now 4th. So good for him. He's obviously dead now, but so this is probably as high as he's going to get. But what a powerful man. I think his legacy will really live on through the next, at least season 5, as we see what the Lannisters really were, or what they are without him, and see how much he was really holding everything together. Just a really great actor. Charlie Dance, I think is his name, maybe. Really well portrayed, and just awesome. Number 3, Arya Stark. She's always been flip-flopping. She started in 3rd. She rose to 2nd place last season, and she fell back 1 spot to 3rd. Not really that big a deal. She's certainly one of the fan favorites. Always has been. Right up there competing with the bigs. So good for her. Pretty good season for her. I think she had the closing scene, which I didn't think was the greatest closing scene of the season of the series, with her saying "Valo Morgulis" and the guy saying "Valo Dahilis" on the boat as she headed out to Bravos. So good for her. She spent a lot of time with the Hound, and I think the best is yet to come for Arya. The best is yet to come. I think Arya, of all the characters in the show here, at this point, I would have to say has the longest remaining arc. I can see a lot of things going very, very badly for a lot of the main characters, like Lord Baelish, like Tyrion, like Daenerys, maybe Jon Snow, maybe Stannis. Probably not Stannis, actually. I'd say Stannis and Arya probably have the longest arcs at this point of the main characters. Second place, the big riser, and kind of a surprise in my opinion, is Jaime Lannister. He had an interesting season 4. I didn't think it was his greatest season. I think people really get his. They like his complexity. He's kind of like an onion. The more you reveal of him, the more layers you see to his personality. When we first saw him in season 1, he was like this arrogant, self-righteous prick who was very cocky and arrogant, and now he's like this kind of struggling man. Kind of struggling, and you can tell he's really battling with a lot of the decisions he makes. So in season 4, he was getting used to his new hand. He was basically told by his father that he wasn't really part of the family because he refused to go back to Casterly Rock and rule. And he basically told his dad that he was sick and tired of trying to do things to improve his image because his image was beyond repair in his opinion, so he wanted to do things that he wanted to do. And he trades Bronn, as we talked about earlier. He rapes his sister next to their dead son, which sounds almost as bad as it was to watch it. He had an awesome scene, I think it would have been the second or third last episode, in which he had an awesome speech talking with Tyrion about the Smashing Beetles, their cousin who was smashing beetles, and then, ironically, little do we know that Oberyn Martell was going to get his head smashed. And he broke Tyrion out of jail would be the big conclusion to his season. So we'll have to see how that plays out in season 5. It should be good. Should be good. And number 1, third year in a row, Tyrion Lannister. What did he do in season 4? Well, he got himself in a lot of trouble for trying to kill. Well, he got blamed basically for killing Joffrey. And then demanded a trial by combat instead of going to the wall, and was on death row basically, and was released. And he had a lot of very emotional. This was probably the most emotional we've seen a single character in a while, I would think. The only one I can remember off the top of my head would be Jaime. Jaime's scene in the bathtub was a really great scene when he was with Brienne. But Tyrion, think of him when he's in the throne room when he's on trial, and he's picking his sentence, and how he's telling everyone that he's been on trial his whole life for being a dwarf. Great scene, great character. It'd be interesting to see how. I think at this point it's pretty conclusive that. I mean, he's won this competition 3 years in a row. That Tyrion is more popular now than Ned Stark is. Even if Ned Stark had been around for a full 4 seasons at this point, I think Tyrion would still best him as being the favorite. It would probably be close, but I think Tyrion is by far the resounding character. And I'm just wondering, at this point, it's like how much higher can he get? I'm just wondering at this point is Tyrion too big for the show now? Like, what would happen to the show if he were to die? I think we all were like, oh, Ned's too big for the show can't go on without Ned, and then Ned died, and so I think we're getting to that point now with Tyrion. There's a lot of other storylines going on right now, but I think Tyrion is certainly the mainstay and the face of the franchise. He's been that for years now, so I'd be interested to see what happens with him in season 5. He's got to start his life all over again, basically. Well, not really, because he's still. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. thanks for watching, guys. Enjoy season 5. Again, look for my video after season 5, which will be my personal top 10. And after season 5, feel free to comment on this video or that video with your personal top 5s. Sorry, top 10s for seasons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'll put them in a video. And I'll see you guys in March or so, or maybe early April 2016. And we'll get the fans' top 10 for seasons 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Have a good one.